Berekuet Adonai Amvarak, Barak Adonai Amavarak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech Haolam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol, Amin Vinatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Bless Adonai, who is to be blessed. Blessed is Adonai, who is to be blessed forever and ever. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who chose us from all the peoples and gave to us his Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of Torah. On the 8th day, Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, "Take a calf of the herd for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering without blemish, and bring them before Adonai. And speak to the Israelites, saying, Take a he-goat for a sin offering, a calf and a lamb, yearlings without blemish, for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram for an offering of well-being, to sacrifice before Adonai, and a meal offering with oil mixed in. For today Adonai will appear to you." They brought to the front of the tent of meeting the things that Moses had commanded, and the community leadership came forward and stood before Adonai. Moses said, "This is what Adonai has commanded that you do, that the presence of Adonai may appear to you." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Come forward to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering and your burnt offering, making expiation for yourself and for the people. And sacrifice a people's offering and make expiation for them, as Adonai has commanded." Aaron came forward to the altar and slaughtered his calf of sin offering. Aaron's sons brought the blood to him. He dipped his finger in the blood and put it on the horns of the altar, and he poured out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. The fat, the kidneys, and the protuberance of the liver from the sin offering he turned into smoke on the altar, as Adonai had commanded Moses. And the flesh and the skin were consumed in fire outside the camp. Then he slaughtered the burnt offering. Aaron's sons passed the blood to him, and he dashed it against all sides of the altar. They passed the burnt offering to him in sections, as well as the head, and he turned it into smoke on the altar. He washed the entrails and the legs, and turned them into smoke on the altar with the burnt offering. Next he brought forward the people's offering. He took the goat for the people's sin offering, and slaughtered it, and presented it as a sin offering like the previous one. He brought forward the burnt offering, and sacrificed it according to regulation. He then brought forward the meal offering, and, taking a handful of it, he turned it into smoke on the altar, in addition to the burnt offering of the morning. He slaughtered the ox and the ram, the people's sacrifice of well-being. Aaron's sons passed the blood to him, which he had dashed against every side of the altar, and the fat parts of the ox and the ram, the broad tail, the covering fat, the kidneys, and the protuberances of the livers. They laid these fat parts over the breast, and Aaron turned the fat parts into smoke on the altar, and elevated the breast and the right thighs as an elevation offering before Adonai, as Moses had commanded. Aaron lifted his hands toward the people and blessed them, and he stepped down after offering the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the offering of well-being. Moses and Aaron then went inside the tent of meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the presence of Adonai appeared to all the people. Fire came forth from before Adonai, and consumed the burnt offering and the fat parts on the altar. And all the people saw and shouted and fell on their faces. Now Aaron's sons Nadab and Abihu each took his fire pan, put fire in it, and laid incense on it. And they offered before Adonai alien fire, which had not been enjoined upon them. And fire came forth from Adonai and consumed them. Thus they died at the instances of Adonai. Then Moses said to Aaron, "This is what Adonai meant by saying, 'Through those near to me I show myself holy, and gain glory before all the people.'" And Aaron was silent. Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, "Come forward and carry your kinsmen away from the front of the sanctuary to a place outside the camp." They came forward and carried them out of the camp by their tunics, as Moses had ordered. And Moses said to Aaron and to his sons Eleazar and Ithamar, "Do not bare your heads, and do not rend your clothes, lest you die and anger strike the whole community. But your kin, all the house of Israel, shall bewail the burning that Adonai has wrought. And so do not go outside the entrance of the tent of meeting, lest you die, for Adonai's anointing oil is upon you." And they did as Moses had bidden. And Adonai spoke to Aaron, saying, "Drink no wine or other intoxicant, you or your sons, when you enter the tent of meeting, that you may not die. This is a law for all time throughout the ages. For you must distinguish between the sacred and the profane, and between the impure and the pure. And you must teach the Israelites all the laws which Adonai has imparted to them through Moses." Moses spoke to Aaron and to his remaining sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, "Take the meal offering that is left over from Adonai's offering by fire, and eat it unleavened beside the altar, for it is most holy. You shall eat it in the sacred precinct, inasmuch as it is your due, and that of your sons, from Adonai's offering by fire, for so I have been commanded. But the breast of elevation offering and the thigh of gift offering, you and your wife, and your sons and daughters with you, may eat in any pure place, for they have been assigned as a due to you and your sons from the Israelites' sacrifices of well-being. Together with the fat of fire offering, they must present the thigh of gift offering and the breast of elevation offering, which are to be elevated as an elevation offering before Adonai, and which are to be your due and that of your sons with you for all time, as Adonai has commanded." Then Moses inquired about the goat of sin offering, and it had already been burned. He was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's remaining sons, and said, "Why did you not eat the sin offering in the sacred area? For it is most holy, and it was what was given to you to remove the guilt of the community and to make expiation for them before Adonai. Since its blood was not brought inside the sanctuary, you should certainly have eaten it in the sanctuary, as I commanded." And Aaron spoke to Moses, "See, this day they brought their sin offering and their burnt offering before Adonai, and such things have befallen me. Had I eaten sin offering today, would Adonai have approved?" And when Moses heard this, he approved. Adonai spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, "Speak to the Israelite people thus: These are the creatures that you may eat from among all the land animals. Any animal that has true hoofs with clefts through the hoofs, and that chews a cud, such you may eat. The following, however, of those that either chew the cud or have true hoofs, you shall not eat. The camel, although it chews a cud, it has no true hoofs, it is impure for you. The daman, although it chews a cud, it has no true hoofs, it is impure for you. The hare, although it chews a cud, it has no true hoofs, it is impure for you. And the swine, although it has true hoofs, with the hoofs cleft through, it does not chew the cud, it is impure for you. You shall not eat of their flesh or touch their carcasses, they are impure for you. These you may eat of all that live in water. Anything in water, whether in the seas or in the streams, that has fins and scales, these you may eat. But anything in the seas or in the streams that has no fins and scales, among all the swarming things of the water, and among all the other living creatures that are in the water, they are an abomination for you, and an abomination for you they shall remain. You shall not eat of their flesh, and you shall abominate their carcasses. Everything in the water that has no fins and scales shall be an abomination for you. The following you shall abominate among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination: the eagle, the vulture, and the black vulture, the kite, falcons of every variety, all varieties of raven, the ostrich, the night hawk, the seagull, hawks of every variety, the little owl, the cormorant, and the great owl, the white owl, the pelican, and the bustard, the stork, herons of every variety, the hoopoe, and the bat. All winged swarm things that walk on fours shall be an abomination for you. But these you may eat among all the winged swarming things that walk on fours, all that have above their feet jointed legs to leap with on the ground. Of these you may eat the following: locust of every variety, all varieties of bald locust, cricket of every variety, and all varieties of grasshopper. But all other winged swarming things that have 4 legs shall be an abomination for you. And the following shall make you impure: whoever touches their carcasses shall be impure until evening, and whoever carries the carcasses of any of them shall wash those clothes and be impure until evening. Every animal that has true hoofs, but without clefts through the hoofs, or that does not chew the cud, they are impure for you. Whoever touches them shall be impure. Also, all animals that walk on ponds among those that walk on fours are impure for you. Whoever touches their carcasses shall be impure until evening. And any who carries their carcasses shall wash those clothes and remain impure until evening. They are impure for you. The following shall be impure for you from among the things that swarm on the earth: the mole, the mouse, and great lizards of every variety, the gecko, the land crocodile, the lizard, the sand lizard, and the chameleon. Those are for you the impure among all the swarming things. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be impure until evening. And anything on which one of them falls when dead shall be impure, be it any article of wood or a cloth or a skin or a sack. Any such article that can be put to use shall be dipped in water, and it shall remain impure until evening. Then it shall be pure. And if any of those falls into an earthen vessel, everything inside it shall be impure, and the vessel itself you shall break. As to any food that may be eaten, it shall become impure if it came in contact with water. As to any liquid that may be drunk, it shall become impure if it was inside any vessel. Everything on which a carcass of any of them falls shall be impure. An oven or a stove shall be smashed. They are impure, and impure they shall remain for you. However, a spring or a cistern in which water is collected shall be pure, but whoever touches such a carcass in it shall be impure. If such a carcass falls upon seed grain that is to be sown, it is pure. But if water is put on the seed and any part of a carcass falls upon it, it shall be impure for you. If any animal that you may eat has died, anyone who touches its carcass shall be impure until evening. Anyone who eats of its carcass shall wash those clothes and remain impure until evening. And anyone who carries its carcass shall wash those clothes and remain impure until evening. All the things that swarm upon the earth are an abomination. They shall not be eaten. You shall not eat among all the things that swarm upon the earth anything that crawls on its belly, or anything that walks on fours, or anything that has many legs, for they are an abomination. You shall not draw abomination upon yourself through anything that swarms. You shall not make yourself impure therewith, and thus become impure. For I, Adonai, am your God. You shall sanctify yourself and be holy, for I am holy. You shall not make yourself impure through any swarming thing that moves upon the earth. For I, Adonai, am the one who brought you up out from the land of Egypt to be your God. You shall be holy, for I am holy. These are the instructions concerning animals, birds, all living creatures that move in water, and all creatures that swarm on the earth, for distinguishing between the impure and the pure, between the living things that may be eaten and the living things that may not be eaten. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et torato, Torat emet, v'chayai olam nata bitochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha-Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'devarim aneemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboker batorah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Israel amo uninvei haemet va'zedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that were uttered with truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chooses the Torah and Moses, God's servant, and Israel, God's people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. In this contribution, the entire population must join with the prince in Israel. But the burnt offering, the grain offerings, and the libations on festivals, new moons, Sabbaths, all fixed occasions of the house of Israel shall be the obligation of the prince. He shall provide the purgation offerings, the grain offerings, the burnt offerings, and the offerings of well-being to make expiation for the house of Israel. Thus said the sovereign God, on the first day of the first month, you shall take a bull of the herd without blemish, and you shall cleanse the sanctuary. The priest shall take some of the blood of the purgation offering and apply it to the doorpost of the temple, to the four corners of the ledge of the altar, and to the doorpost of the gate of the inner court. You shall do the same on the seventh day of the month to purge the temple from impurity caused by unwitting or ignorant persons. On the 14th day of the first month, you shall have the Passover sacrifice, and during a festival of 7 days unleavened bread shall be eaten. On that day the prince shall provide a bull of purgation, offering on behalf of himself and of the entire population. And during the 7 days of the festival, ye shall provide daily for 7 days 7 bulls and 7 rams without blemish for a burnt offering to God, and 1 goat daily for a purgation offering. Ye shall provide a grain offering of an ephah for each bull, and an ephah for each ram, with an hin of oil to every ephah. So too during the festival of the 7th month, for 7 days, from the 15th day on, ye shall provide the same purgation offering, burnt offerings, grain offerings, and oil. Thus said the sovereign God, the gate of the inner court that faces east shall be closed on the 6 working days. It shall be open on the Sabbath day, and it shall be open on the day of the new moon. The prince shall enter by way of the vestibule outside the gate, and shall attend at the gatepost where the priest sacrifices his burnt offering and his offering of well-being. Ye shall then bow low at the threshold of the gate and depart. The gate, however, shall not be closed until evening. The common people shall worship before God on Sabbaths and the new moons at the entrance of the same gate. The burnt offering that the prince presents to God on the Sabbath day shall consist of 6 lambs without blemish and 1 ram without blemish, with a grain offering of an ephah For the ram, a grain offering of as much as he wishes for the lambs, and a hin of oil with every ephah. And on the day of the new moon it shall consist of a bull of the herd without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram, they shall be without blemish. And he shall provide a grain offering of an ephah for the bull, an ephah for the ram, and as much as he can afford for the lambs, with a hin of oil to every ephah. When the prince enters, he shall come in by way of vestibule of the gate, and he shall go out the same way. But on the fixed occasions, when the common people come before God, whoever enters by the north gate to bow low shall leave by the south gate, and whoever enters by the south gate shall leave by the north gate. They shall not go back through the gate by which they came in, but shall go out by the opposite one. And as for the prince, he shall enter with them, when they enter, and leave when they leave. On festivals and fixed occasions, the grain offering shall be an ephah for each bull, an ephah for each ram, and as much as he wishes for the lambs, with a hin of oil for every ephah. The gate that faces east shall also be open for the prince whenever he offers a free will offering, be it burnt offering or offering of well-being, freely offered to God, so that he may offer his burnt offering or his offering of well-being, just as he does on the Sabbath day. Then he shall leave, and the gate shall be closed after he leaves. Each day you shall offer a lamb of the first year without blemish. As a daily burnt offering to God, you shall offer one every morning. And every morning regularly you shall offer a grain offering with it, 1/6 of an ephah with 1/3 of a hin of oil to moisten the choice flour, as a grain offering to God, a law for all time. The lamb, the grain offering, and oil shall be presented every morning as a regular burnt offering. Thus said the sovereign God, if the prince makes a gift to any of his sons, it shall become the latter's inheritance. It shall pass on to his sons. It is their holding by inheritance. But if he makes a gift from his inheritance to any of his subjects, it shall only belong to the latter until the year of release. Then it shall revert to the prince. His inheritance must by all means pass on to his sons. But the prince shall not take property away from any of the people and rob them of their holdings. Only out of his own holdings shall he endow his sons, in order that none of my people may dispossessed of their holdings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zer kol haolamim zadik, vekol adoret ahel הנאמן, האומר ועושה, עם דבר חיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך אחור לא ישב, רחם כי אל מלך נאמן, ורחמם אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all eternities, righteous in all generations, the faithful God who says and does, who speaks and fulfills, all of whose words are true. Faithful are you, Lord our God, and faithful are your words. Not one of your words turns back unfulfilled, for you, O God, are a faithful and compassionate King. Blessed are you, Lord, the God who is faithful in all his words.